Oh, how are
Mr.
you?
Rob Gaudette, how are
Hey,
you doing, good sir?
I'm good. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
How much of your kids' candy have you been eating today?
None actually. my kids didn't go out trick or treating. Oh, look at you, look at you. They my wife set up a whole bunch of games for them to play at home and stuff with their friends. So they really dug that. So and I don't know if you know me, but this part about me, but I don't really have a sweet tooth. So candies and sweets, I don't really consume a lot. But it looks like you've have you consumed all of them?
No, I actually prefer chips. I'm a chips guy, but I will say,
I was gonna say that, yeah, when we were having our discussion before about favorite candies or whatever, I'm like, I really liked it when small bags of chips started getting added to the mix.
yeah,
That
I'm a
was like the
huge
ultimate thing.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge chip guy, but admittedly, the month of October is really the only time the sweet tooth kicks in. You've got Girl Guide cookies and Halloween.
I'll admit, during
And
this pandemic, I definitely started to crave it because all the dessert places and stuff like that.
I actually don't need any of these. I don't need them. I don't really want them. And yet, it's kind of like in the Matrix. I'm like, I know it's not there. I know it's not really steak, but in my brain, I'm thinking, God damn, this piece of steak tastes great.
He's like eating it. He eats like a big chunk.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome to the Heroes World Sidekick Show. How's it going?
What's up? I see a bunch of people in the chat. I see Lewis, Jesse, Frazier. Oh, Michelle's in the house. What's up, Michelle? Hope you guys had a good Halloween. There might be some other people in there that maybe aren't chatting just yet. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for always tuning in on a Monday. Or if this is your first time, thanks for giving us a try. But we're hopefully we'll have some fun tonight. We've been talking about Drag Me to Hell, Robert, and a bunch of people in the chat's choice for our movie to close out Halloween season. So this was a pretty fun watch for Halloween. I'll give a little bit away about what I think of this movie. But Rob,
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, we've got a lot to get into. We've got what's new in the store this week at Heroes World as well. We've got some news tidbits to go over, and then obviously, as John said, we're going to talk about Drag Me to Hell. But just going to put a little bit of a plug out there. The Heroes World podcast show, the main show that drops on Sunday. It was myself, Stu, and John here as we did a bit of a Halloween episode, and we did a review of Venom 2. We're late to the party on that one. We all saw it when it first came out. We really didn't think anybody wanted to hear our thoughts on Venom, but well, it was Halloween, and what the hell. We also discussed some of our favorite Halloween treats and what type of movies that you could watch with your significant others or kids or whatever it was. So that was a lot of a fun. That was a fun episode. I got somebody, John, got really wet. And
someone committed to a bit. So if you've listened to it on the audio, you'll wonder why some of us sound pretty muffled at points.
Yeah,
you got check the video version out. Even if you have no interest in our Venom review, skip ahead. We talk about Halloween stuff. I'll actually add that timestamp to the video. I didn't do it yet, but you could listen to us fun on Venom for a little while as well too. So I don't think that movie can technically be spoiled.
No,
per se.
No.
Yeah.
No, like yogurt, the milk is already spoiled. So we talked about that. I'm also going to give a shout out to, hey, what did I miss on Thursdays, where John and I will pop in, hosted by John's brother Chris and Pat. They talk about
me and Rob just attempt to clog up the works as much as we can. And it's fun.
And it's usually nobody wants to know how the sausage is made, folks. But let me give you a bit of an idea. We run the show every Thursday, 8:30. By about 4 in the afternoon, Chris sends an email saying, "Hey, does anybody have news?" To which, if he had just looked back throughout the week's chat, there was all these stories that we will link. Pat gets the pictures, puts them together, and John and I are just the monkeys on the chair, banging the tambourine drums, doing silly shit. And then on Friday, we have Andre and our friend Jesse are doing the TGIF, and so they run down a bunch of cool stuff talking about comics. Especially this month, they were doing horror comics and whatnot. So you definitely want to check out the Heroes World YouTube page, and if you don't have your subscription there, then please subscribe, hit the notification bell, because trailers be dropping over the next little while, and you never know when a trailer reaction video will pop up. So just want to get that out of the way, John.
Yeah, good, smart thinking, Robin. Yeah, and if you're not on following the audio, all of those shows are available on the audio. So you not only get one show, which is this show right here, the Sidekick Show, you also get all those other shows along with it and any other fun stuff. So please follow us there and let us know if you like it and with the other types of content you'd like to see. So I'll go quickly over the new stuff we're getting at the store. If you're new or you haven't heard, last time I put it up. Wait, what did I do here? Sorry. Messed up my thing there. Here we go. We do post all our new releases on our Instagram and Facebook. So if you're looking for the list of new releases there, you can check it out. It's got all the comics that we are getting, Marvel, DC, Image, and Boom, and all kinds of different companies. So a couple cool books that are coming out this week that have caught my eye are this Dark Knights of Steel that you can kind of see here on the left, which is kind of like a medieval, maybe a King Arthur-like style take on the Justice League, it looks like. And Batman 116 is coming out as well. It looks really hot. The book has been doing very well. This is the James Tynion book, and he's introducing new characters all over the place.
And he's coming to an end. His run's coming to an end. Yeah.
So he's gonna be wrapping it up. I don't know what's gonna be the fate of all these characters, but he's added a whole bunch of characters to the mix. I think Jesse and Andre have been talking about them during the TGIF Fridays comic recaps. So definitely check that out. And let us know. You can always message us through any of our social media means, or you can send a message to any of these posts of the new releases we got, and we'll do our best to pull you whatever you ask for, comic-wise. And then other new releases will be showing up later on the week. So new Magic sets on the horizon, and a big Pokemon restocks coming this week. So if you are into Pokemon, hit me up. I'll actually have some stock finally. Crazy times. But if you don't know, Pokemon is like the hottest thing on the planet right now. So it's kind of nuts. So.
You showcased that one book, the Human Target, by Tom King, and I can't remember the artist that's on it. Are you a Human Target fan?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed the original series, and even the TV series. I kind of liked it for what it was. It wasn't exactly a fully faithful to the original comic version, but it was a good little part of it. So I thought it was a cool idea. It's a very cool idea. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, or Rob, if you got a really good description of it. But it's kind of like Christopher Chance is the main character, and he is almost like a reverse assassin. So if someone's coming to get you, he takes your place and assumes everything, not just your look, but your mental thoughts, your mannerisms, everything. So it's a really cool dive into what that does to him, and a way that he uses it to lure potential bad guys out. So now, did you enjoy the show? I think there was
I did. I did like the show. It was actually the guy who was in the Mark. Oh, what's his name? He was in the first season of Fringe. He was actually married to Anna Torv from Fringe. And Mark Chan. No, I don't know. Anyways, so the show only lasted for one season, and I think it wasn't even 23 episodes. It might have just been 13 or 14 episodes. And then he was actually starred in Arrow. They had Christopher Chance appear in Arrow a couple of times in some of the mid seasons. So the idea was always intriguing to me. I actually quite liked it. I'm interested to find out how Tom King runs this, because as you're saying, it kind of messes with his mind. He doesn't know who he originally is. And that is a very interesting theme that he somewhat...
That's like Tom King's jam. He
the
likes
Mr. Miracle stuff, right? Yeah. So I'm interested to see how that goes. So, okay, cool. So that's what's coming out.
Shout out to the t-shirt guy. This is not I don't know what funds MYR as. Rob is wearing a Gideon Falls t-shirt available from Diamond Distribution. We got those at this store at one point. I don't know if they're still available. I'm wearing an old Batman shirt that my wife got off of Abercrombie and Finch, believe it or not. They did a line of Batman shirts.
Wow.
That are pretty cool. They're really
cost you $90.
She usually gets everything on sale, so it was probably on clearance at one point or something. But it's pretty dope. But people actually quite like it. I was very surprised at the branding on the shirt.
That's awesome. Actually, my buddy Jonathan, Mark Valley. Thank you, Mark. Jonathan, that's right. Mark Valley is the actor who played Christopher Chance. Okay, I want to get into some. Yeah. So I'm just going to jump into some news here, John. John,
go for it.
John, my buddy John. Yes. Remember the movie Aquaman, John?
I vaguely remember Aquaman with our boy Momoa.
That's right.
Mimosas.
And do you remember
Jason
when
Mimosas.
Jason Mimosas? Yeah. Jason Samosa, actually. And do you remember when the Trench showed up? You know, like those crazy part fish, part human creatures that were created by Jeff Johns for like the New 52 run.
Yeah. They basically dragged the whole boat down, if you don't remember.
Right, in the movie.
They were
and then do you remember
full in the water.
Yeah, there was, you know, the whole, and then do you remember like when after Aquaman came out, James Wan, the director, said, "Hey, we're gonna make a Trench movie," and people were kind of like stoked for it because Wan's known for his horror movies, and the Trench is a pretty terrifying idea, right? And John, hey, do you remember when WB and DC said, "You know what, James, we're not going to go forward with that idea, and there's no more Trench movie," and everybody was like kind of bummed and pissed off about it. Well, here's going to...
Is it happening? Is that what you're going to report right now? All right,
no, I'm actually going to even crush your dreams further, John.
Oh!
This Trench movie was actually going to be a secretly filmed Black Manta movie. And WB had canceled it, probably knowing that it was going to be Black Manta. And we all kind of lost out on that. So I hate to start the show off with sad news, John, but there we are, man. Now, how amazing do you think that would have been? Do you think that James Wan has now taken whatever he was going to do in that movie and pushed it into Aquaman 2?
I think it would have been really cool to see something a little different on DC's side. They might have been able to explore a smaller budget or just a smaller scale horror style, like, because those creatures are actually pretty terrifying. We only see a little glimpse of them in that movie, and just the sheer volume of them and something pulling you underwater. Like when we get to our movie Dragged Me to Hell, things pulling you down into some type of abyss is scary as hell. And in the comic book, I think the Jeff Johns run is where they were mostly prominent. They were like a main bad guy. But yeah, it's a shame that didn't happen. I know the guy who played Black Manta, I forgot what his name is. He's doing pretty well for himself right now. So
he's okay. He's Morpheus in the upcoming Matrix.
And Ambulance. He's an Ambulance, right?
That's right. Yeah, that movie looks sick.
We're gonna go see.
I probably will go see that. Although that's a 3.5-minute trailer, I think we actually saw most of the movie. Speaking of amazing, John, I'm a huge fan of Hard Boiled, and we here at the Sidekick Show are fans of The Killer and Face Off, anything directed by John Woo. Well, he's back in the Hollywood mix of things, making an action movie called Silent Night that is going to star Joel Kinnaman. My
guy, Joel Kinnaman. I love that guy.
For I don't know why. Mankind, the new RoboCop, which we don't really like to talk about. But here's the crazy thing,
Carbon
John.
TV series.
That's season 1, right?
Yeah.
But Silent Night, this new movie by John Woo, will be without a single word of dialogue. The plot involves
do you think it's legit? Before you get into the plot, do you think this is legit, or is it just going to be the main character that maybe doesn't say anything?
No, I think the whole movie could potentially be without a single word. Could you imagine?
This is brave. Yeah,
it is. The plot involves a father who dives into the criminal underworld to avenge his son's death. I don't know how you do that without saying "fuck" or something like I don't see how you can get away.
Maybe they'll be saying stuff and it'll be like silenced out, like almost like
an old silent movie in the 1920s where the
when Bond gets exploded or whatever and his ears go out, or those movies where like they'll cover vocal parts with some other sound or something like that. I don't know. Interesting.
I don't know, but yeah, we'll see what happens. No idea when that will be coming out. I mean, they haven't even started filming it. I think it starts in the next definitely in 2022, but we'll see what happens with Silent Night. Now, John, I'm not a big fan of posting or talking about rumors that I'm like, I don't really know, but I got a couple of interesting MCU rumors to talk about. But I am going to preface this by saying, hey, everybody, take these with a massive grain of salt. Rumor 1 is that Marvel would like to bring MODOK into the MCU. MODOK is the mechanized organism designed only for killing. And as you may remember, it was a TV show on Disney Plus here in Canada, voiced by Patton Oswalt. Well, they want to bring MODOK into the MCU universe. And now this is really where it gets even more weird. Apparently, they've hired Jim Carrey to be MODOK for multiple MCU movies.
This is a rumor though, right? So Jim
This
Carrey
is a
was
rumor
on
that
scene
hasn't.
at the studios, and these guys are like, let's put something together.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't think they'll put him in the actual chair, John. But I mean,
Maybe he voices it, and it'll be a
yeah,
mechanical animatronic
maybe
thing.
Some facial software to be able to put his face into the big giant head of MODOK. But is this something that you would like to do? You think if Jim Carrey was going to jump into the MCU, do you think this is the character in which he would facilitate?
I don't know if it necessarily should be the character that he plays. I've never thought of MODOK and thought, hey, Jim Carrey would really nail this role.
Right.
But who really nails a MODOK role? Like, I don't know. But, I'll watch Jim Carrey in almost anything. I still got to watch Sonic the Hedgehog, which has him as the main villain, which is awesome.
It was actually surprisingly good. I have to admit, it's on Amazon Prime, I think, or at least it was. It's a cool show, just movie, just to kind of throw on and watch.
Yeah. Fraser says, why not have kept Patton Oswalt, which is kind of sucky because
yeah, but it makes me wonder if maybe it's because they don't want to go as comedic. I don't know. It's hard to say. But the next rumor I want to bring your attention is involving Mahershala Ali's Blade. Obviously, he was announced a couple of years ago. They brought him out on San Diego Comic-Con, so this would have been 2019, I think, John, onto the stage. We've heard really nothing about it. There was a rumor that is, from I think it was a Marvel India official account that Blade was going to drop in October of 2022. We have no idea if that ever.
Yeah, they accidentally pulled that some release schedule, and they're like, take it down.
Yeah. So we don't know what's happening. However, the rumor is that Blade will make an appearance in the upcoming Disney Plus series Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac as Mark Spector himself. So I don't know, man. I mean, is this? There's been a couple other rumors that I won't even mention about some characters who are going to be making their quote-unquote appearances in television shows before jumping into the big screen. Do you think that is a natural evolution? Do you think it waters down these big reveal characters, or do you think it's just Marvel doing Marvel stuff?
I think they got to get away. Like it feels like they always try and make a big deal of these things, or like keep it secret for as long as possible. Like I don't know if we're I don't know if the spoiler thing is getting kind of old. So I feel like if they just start releasing it, then people will, like it'll pass by and people will forget about it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. I did just start rewatching Luke Cage.
Okay.
And, Mahershala Ali as Cottonmouth. He's amazing. Yeah. He's like really good. So I guess any news about Blade is good news, but
honestly, you should see him in True Detective season 3. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I got like the True Detective 1. I never got a chance to catch. 2. I watched up until that crazy gunfight. Yeah, which was insane. It was an insane scene. I don't know. Everyone told me it dropped off after that. Yeah, but yeah, I got to watch the new one. I liked him in Green Book. Like just everything this guy does is amazing. So I definitely want to get in on that True Detective. Some people herald True Detective season 1 is one of the greatest pieces of TV.
It is. It's ever. One of my favorite. Yeah. I love it. I love it. But John, listen, man, I want to end off the news tonight with something. I'm close to you, buddy. We're like brothers. But not. But I know tomorrow's a big day for you. I know, and for people listening, I want you to take a moment to understand. Tomorrow's a really big day in John's household. I suspect he's called Rogers or Bell or whatever internet provider he's using. Maybe he's tech savvy, and he's asked him to boost his internet to make sure he has Ultra HD 4K, that his upload-download speeds are on point. Because tomorrow, you'll be happy to know, John, and I know that you know this. I know it's been on your calendar. You highlighted this movie as your most anticipated movie in the last 10 years. John, tomorrow, a trailer for Morbius
will finally resurface. You think it's going to be the same trailer because so much time has passed that we forgot? And they could release the new trailer, and they could actually straight up pretend that they never
they never had the first one.
It'd be like some type of Mandela effect. And they would be like, check out this new Morbius movie coming out. And people are like, wait, didn't you show us that already?
And I'm like, nope, don't know what you're just looking at. Well, John, I know you're excited about this. I will say though that the trailer has actually leaked. It leaked earlier today. Mm-hmm. And I didn't look at the trailer, there is like an 8-second clip that did leak though, where Venom is mentioned in this 8-second clip that's part of this trailer reveal that comes out
hearing
tomorrow.
rumors of them tying those at least those universes together.
Well, and then Jared Leto made a comment in this featurette thing that Sony officially put out, and he said, "You never know what webs can be spun," or something to that effect. And I'm paraphrasing, but he used the fact, a tangled web or a webs to be spun. So he's obviously hinting at something larger in the Spider-Man universe. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow when this movie's supposed to come out in January. So we will see what happens.
But yeah, I was like, do they have a date? They're announcing a trailer, a run back of this trailer, basically, to try and rebuild hype. I guess the new trailer is probably going to drop a date for it as well. But
this featurette that came out today showed some new footage, and you saw a lot more of Morbius himself. Even though it was cut scenes, like you can see a bit more of his face. But again, the trailer has leaked online, so I haven't seen it. However, I do know that the nerds online, God, I love you nerds, because we're all together in this hellhole. But
nerds unite,
right? But they said, that they've cut and pasted. They've got the Sam Raimi, like Oscorp logo. They have the Amazing Spider-Man, like other things. Like they've taken pieces out of all these different Spider-Man movies and put them in the background on things. So who the hell knows what's happening? I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is it's coming out tomorrow, and John, you couldn't be happier than a pig in shit.
It'll be interesting. Fraser makes a good point that Sony's Venom doesn't actually use webs, which is pretty funny because they actually use the web imagery in a lot of their posters for it. And
they do.
And you're right. He doesn't swing around on a bunch of webs. I don't recall him.
He just jumps
anybody up. Yeah,
he just literally
jumps from place to place.
Yeah,
and eats people.
Right. Yeah. He's like a zombie. He wants to eat brains, and that, John, is the news, buddy.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to close it, Rob. It'd be very interesting if Sony creates this whole Spider-Man universe without a Spider-Man. How funny would that be? They create a whole like a stack of movies, like 10 movies of just all the characters that are not Spider-Man, and they can call it the not Spider-Man universe.
But you know what? In all honesty, like I think about this, I think do these actors like? I know that they may want to be in these comic book property movies, but if you're doing a Marvel movie that is not tied into the MCU proper, like do you feel like you're not really part of it? Like in DC, it's not like DC characters are licensed anywhere else. They're all under the Warner Brothers banner. So it's one home. Marvel has their this Spider-Man stuff elsewhere. So like if you're Olivia, whatever, she's doing Spider-Woman. Like there's all these other, Tom Hardy doing his Venom. You have Evan Peters is apparently Kraven the Hunter. Like, so all I'm saying is that like when you're signing up for these comic book movies, you're not really tied into Marvel. Wouldn't you want to? Is it like playing AAA ball and not Major League ball? Like using a sports analogy because it's World Series time.
Or but maybe they figure the more. I think they probably have gotten to a point where the paycheck, as long as it's a good chunk of money. I don't think they're thinking of the long game of, hey, you know what? I'm not going to play a character in this universe because that means it'll be harder for me to get into that universe. Or if there was some type of guild of actors that were like, we're all going to be in the Sony thing, so they have to combine them too. We're going to band together and be all the biggest stars possible there. That'd be a funny little behind the scenes thing to happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like it's more just about I would like to think it's more about the project and the compensation for being a particular character. And as a nice side effect, if they get folded into the MCU, which is the juggernaut moneymaker right now, bonus, right?
Yeah, I guess.
But just because you're casting one doesn't mean you're not going to get cast in the other. But yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
we have all this separation of characters, folks.
We do.
Weird thing that we're living with.
Sony started off the Spider-Man trilogy with Sam Raimi, who is now into the MCU directing Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness. But before he did that, John, right after Spider-Man, he directed Drag Me to Hell.
Drag Me to Hell, yeah. So let's get into our main movie. I don't think there's any other news that you saw pop up.
No, bud.
Yeah, I think we did a good job. And if you want more on news related stuff, tune in Thursday to So What I Miss with Chris, Pat, Rob, and myself. And as much chops as we can bust. Sorry, we just got a spam message to our thing, which is interesting. I feel like that means we hit the big time.
Sweet.
Please ignore that.
Wow, we can watch girls streaming. What? All right. Hey John, do you want me to give you the rundown and Drag Me to Hell? John?
Prepared, so hopefully you have Drag Me to Hell prepared.
John, are you there?
I'm here, yeah.
Okay, because you froze for a second on my end. Okay, cool. I've got the Drag Me to Hell stuff. You want me to go for it?
Yeah. Sorry, I was saying yes because I have nothing.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Drag Me to Hell, John. Released in May 29th. First of all, thanks everybody for tuning in. And hopefully you had an opportunity to watch this movie with us. Not with us. It was at your own leisure on Netflix.
It was in the air. It was in the world that we were all watching this together.
Release date of May 29th, 2009, John. For a budget of $30 million, it made worldwide 90.8. Let's just call it 91 million. I like to round up those extra 200,000. Directed by Sam Raimi, co-written by Raimi and his older brother Ivan. They actually wrote this script and had it finished before Sam started on the Spider-Man trilogy. Here's really weird things, John. It premiered at the Cannes or Con, depending on how fancy you are. It premiered at the Con.
Wait, which is the fancy version then?
I think it's saying Con makes it very fancy, and the rest of us just say Cannes Film Festival.
Poupon.
It premiered at Cannes Film Festival, which is bananas because this is not generally a type of movie that.
I can tell now. Yeah, when you say Cannes, it sounds a little bit hillbilly, but I don't know.
Right, it premiered at Cannes Film Festival, as opposed to the Cannes Film Festival, prestigious Cannes. It went on to win the Best Horror Film of 2009 at the Scream and Saturn Awards. And if you take a look at the other movies in 2009 that were horror-based, well, you had The Human Centipede, John, which I know was one of your personal favorites.
God. I wouldn't touch that. My friend used to rave about that movie, and I'm like, and he told me the concept of it, and I was like, hell no, am I watching it? That's like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with when YouTube or videos first started hitting online. There was a video called Two Girls, One Cup. Don't watch it. Once I heard what it was, I had no desire to watch it, and to this day, I've never watched it. So I don't know why you would want to do that.
Okay. That took a detour. Okay. The movie Drag Me to Hell stars Alison Lohman, Justin Long, and Lorna Raver as creepy as fuck Mrs. Sylvia Ganush. The movie has a Rotten Tomato score of 92% critical fresh. But John, weirdly enough, it only has a 62% audience score. It's not often we see an audience score that is much lower than a critic score. So let's get into Drag Me to Hell to see who's right, the critics or the audience. And I'm going to keep eating Smarties.
Yeah, sorry, my girls are all over the place. Yeah, so like, I wonder if the audience score being low is because some people maybe don't consider it a horror. I was going to ask you first off the gate, Rob, is this in fact a horror movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
As opposed to what? A comedy?
And some people would call it like a comedy, comedy horror, or like it doesn't sit in the horror genre.
I think it's on the periphery, but that's kind of what Sam Raimi did. Like his Evil Dead 2, they were on the periphery of horror. There were some comedic elements into it.
Yeah. I think you said he wrote this right after, I guess, Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, and then right before Spider-Man. And there's a lot of like, I'm told Easter eggs that lead to Evil Dead and that kind of stuff. Do you think that this is perhaps in the Evil Dead universe? So if somewhere down the road we get some Army of Darkness, Evil Dead multiverse or big crossover with all his movies that he did, do you think they will at some point find this character? Before we get into spoilers, we'll get into the spoilers after, but
no, I don't think it's tied in at all. Yeah.
But the DNA is there, folks. So thank you everybody for joining us. If you haven't seen Drag Me to Hell, we're just gonna quickly go over our overall thoughts of the movie, and then we'll go into full spoilers. So, and of course, these girls can't leave me alone now. So Rob, let's start with you while I try to usher these kids out. What did you overall think on the rewatch of this movie?
Okay, yeah, sure. So I'm gonna give it while you give your kids more candy and have them sent off into the basement and play with all your high-end collectibles. So I saw this movie. I guess it wasn't definitely in the theaters. I think when it came out whatever streaming service, or I rented it or whatever it was. I watched it, and so it would have been 2010. I quite enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I haven't seen it since then, and I had a very good memory of this movie, so that's why I thought, hey, this would be a lot of fun to watch. Now being Halloween and whatnot, and with Sam Raimi, stepping into the multiverse of madness. I have to say, I think it's one of those movies that benefits from watching it the first time. I don't feel you're not rewarded with the same fun watching it the second time. That's not to say that the movie isn't great, but it's kind of like watching The Sixth Sense or Primal Fear. Once you've seen it and you've enjoyed it, then everything, when you go back to watch it again, I feel like the mysteries, the suspense, everything is kind of taken away from it a little bit.
The suspense thriller aspect of it is not as strong. You're not like, oh man, what's gonna happen next, or like, I hope this person gets out of this or something like that.
Right. And I also think, I will say, the one aspect of the movie that I don't think I appreciated when I first saw it is that we're now in 2021. This came out in 2009, which was just at like the beginning, or sorry, a couple of months into the financial downturn that we all experienced. And, there is, and I don't know if it was purposefully done, but the bank as an institution and the bank manager were just as villainous as anything else in this movie, right? I mean, you can really take a look at this and go, oh my God, like these guys are pricks. And let me tell you something. If I had a manager who was like, well, it's a promotion between you or Stan, and Stan got me tickets to the Lakers game, I'd be like, well, go blow Stan. I'm out of here. Like, I don't need your damn job. This is stupid. So I will say that I thought that the actress who played Miss Ganesh was horrifying. Like her teeth coming, like they were fake teeth, and yet they were all like chipped up and curved and gross. Like, how do you mess up your own fake teeth? But the scenes of her gnawing on the chin of the girl's chin was just right, and like all the slobber coming out, I was like, oh my God, it was so disgusting, right? So overall, I still think I enjoyed it. It just didn't hold the same punch for me as when I first saw it. Like, it wasn't knocked off my feet as when I had first saw it. But you've never seen it, John, so give me your perspective.
Yeah, so having not seen this, going in pretty much totally blind. I saw this poster here. I didn't know what to think of it. You said Sam Raimi did it. Follow up to so I was expecting maybe a little bit of Army of Darkness vibe to it, or comedic elements. I didn't know it was going to be that kind of comedic. I thought it was going to be like little stuff here and there, but he does go kind of over the top with the things that happen. And I've got some fun stuff coming up that we're going to get into that stuff. But overall, as a movie, I really enjoyed it. And not being someone in horror, I almost didn't feel like it was like hardcore horror. It was more of like a suspense thriller horror. So it wasn't like a Saw or something like that to me, or the like Scream we watched earlier. It didn't feel like a slasher flick. It almost felt like a cautionary tale. So I think if you haven't seen this movie, and then I'll just say this and then we'll get into spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie, I definitely do recommend it. I think it's pretty cool. Even if you're not into this genre, you don't have to watch anything before. You don't have to be familiar with Raimi's movies. I think you will have a good time. And shout outs to the lead actress, Allison Lohman. Yeah, Lohman, who I thought did a really good job, and they really gave her a lot of like close-ups and stuff, which I think would be very intimidating for some performers and stuff like that. And I heard that she did almost all her own stunts, and I'm pretty sure, I guess stunts qualifies as having horrific things done to you, like someone gumming your chin in your face. So to watch her do that, and I think I will, like, sometimes these movies I watch and I'm like, yeah, I'm never gonna watch that again. I think this I will actually watch again because of the comedic elements and the performances in it. So Rob, you of course recommend everybody watch this. So for some reason you haven't seen it, please give it a shot. It's on Netflix right now in Canada, and I'm sure it's on some streaming service. It's a fairly recent movie, so it's not like one of those obscure movies that we kind of pick and becomes really hard to find. So that is our spoiler-free portion, and now we're going to go full out spoilers. So even if you haven't seen it, we're going to have some fun talking about it. Let me open it up with, do you want to talk a little bit about the cast? Do you want to talk about, or the director? The director is where I'm always weak. I don't always see the kind of nuances that they kind of bring in. I take it in and I enjoy it and I follow them throughout, but I don't know why I enjoy it sometimes. So Sam Raimi's thing is horror.
Yes. I guess one could say he is horror as a director. I mean, let me give you a rundown of some of the stuff that he has done, John. He did a bunch of short movies. The Evil Dead was his first big like theatrical movie. Everything else he had done were short movies. So he starts it off with Evil Dead, did a couple more short, did the Evil Dead 2. He did Darkman in 1990.
Oh, Darkman! Alec Baldwin?
Liam Neeson.
Alec
Baldwin was the Shadow.
Okay.
Was Darkman.
Is Darkman good? Has anyone watched it recently? If you watched it recently in the chat, let us know if it's actually good by today's standards.
I haven't seen it recently. He followed up with Army of Darkness, which is a cult classic favorite, right? Part of the Evil Dead universe. And then he did The Quick and the Dead, which is a Western with Sharon Stone and Leonardo DiCaprio. He did A Simple Plan.
What a cool name. All these Westerns with really cool names.
I know, right? The Quick and the Dead. 3:10 to Yuma.
Young Guns.
Young Guns. What you don't like is like, Bob the Mule Seller. He did another movie called A Simple Plan, and I haven't seen it in a really long time, but I remember really liking that with Bill Paxton and Billy Bob Thornton. And then, I just lost my filmography for him. He drops into For the Love of the Game, which I believe was the baseball movie. He does the movie The Gift, and then jumps into the Spider-Man trilogy. And follows that up with Drag Me to Hell. So this was his first movie following the Spider-Man 3. And then he did Oz, the Great and the Powerful, which was, again, like I think it was a prequel to The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
So
this film could have potentially been lost after he got big and did the Spider-Mans and stuff. This film could have been something that just like disappeared. So we're actually I think we're a little bit fortunate to have it exist.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I think I'm happy that he's directing the Multiverse of Madness. I'm not happy. Like, I'm happy because he's of his horror background and his ability to think a little bit outside the box. Like, I think he's a classic director with, in his terms of his shots, a lot of Dutch camera angles and stuff like that. So it's not about his pedigree as directing the Spider-Man movies. I actually think that I don't really care that he directed those. Mm-hmm. But I think bringing a certain mind-bending trip to Doctor Strange is right up Sam Raimi's alley. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does with Doctor Strange 2. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I am looking forward to Doctor Strange 2 now after hearing that. So let's get into the cast a little bit. We'll open it up with this. A bunch of people have said it in the chat, and Rob, you kind of touched on it. We'll talk about the lead actress first and I think her phenomenal job as this character. What's her name? Christine. Yeah, Christine. Rob, what is the grossest thing that happened to her in this movie? You guys in the chat, be sure to chime in. I've got a short list of the things that I thought was funny or gross. So the first thing was that getting her face gummed by the old lady in the car. And also disturbing is after the attack happens, she does not seem to have an opportunity to wash her face, which is kind of disturbing to me. But I feel like that's a theme in the whole movie, that these kind of disgusting things happen to her.
But it happened to her twence.
Yeah,
she gets gummed in the chin twice.
Does it happen to her twice? I don't know. The other moment I thought of was the eyeball, like when the old lady's head gets crushed by the anvil and the eyeball flies into her mouth. That was pretty gross. And then the point where the corpse falls over and all the formaldehyde or whatever the hell's inside of it just basically drains into her face. I don't know if you have anything else that happened to her that you thought was really gross.
No, I think you hit it upon. I mean, even the scene in the car when the old lady's trying to like carjack her essentially and kill her, and they're on the ground and they're wrestling. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with the teeth falling out, like when she slams and hits her brain, and like the woman comes.
Yeah, she crashes the car, her teeth fly out, and then she starts like gnawing on her face.
Yeah. It was just because she did it at the bank before. She was gumming her on her chin, and like it was
which had to happen when you think about it. That those performers had to do that. I think a lot of this movie was practical with very few things being CG. Even the ending scene where she kind of gets pulled under, I think that was a practical effect from what I was reading about it. So that's pretty crazy. So
I think the only real CG effect that I had a problem with, John, is the one that you actually mentioned, is when she's having this dream sequence or whatever it is, and she's up in the loft, and the old woman, the whatever, she punches Christine in the face, and it goes like she reaches into her throat. It looked so stupid.
And then gets her arms like lodged into her mouth.
And then when she has the anvil tied on a rope, and I'm like, well, who has an anvil at home? And then second of all, Rob, why would you have it hoisted up on a...
This is how you store your anvils back in the day. I'm sure if you find a medieval textbook, that's how you would store your anvil, because you don't want it on the floor. You don't want to bump into it. You don't want to stub your toe. So you suspend it from the air via a complicated system of pulleys. No. Because we all know pulleys make things that are heavy very easy to lift. But Rob, what's more improbable? That anvil being suspended from the ceiling, or you or anybody having a stapler in their car?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what's more improbable?
No, don't forget, she had her stuff, and she had dumped all of her work stuff in there. So that's why she had the stapler in her car.
Because she reaches into the glove box, it looks like, and grabs a stapler. I'm like...
No, because she had her white tray with all of her paper clips and tacks and thumbtacks and all, and then the stapler. And so, and she's just hammering the old lady with staples, and she stapled her eyes shut. And I was like, oh my God. No, but to answer your question, the anvil. Listen, the only time I've ever seen an anvil stored in the air has generally been a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, I was going to say Bugs Bunny or
Wile E. Coyote. Nobody. I'm fairly certain that if anybody has anvils around the farm, they don't hoist it into their barn. That would be a danger. You wouldn't want to walk underneath that for fear of that rope just snapping one day and just crushing you in the head. So I think anvils are not generally stored in the air, John. At least maybe in a barn farm setting, definitely not in a house in San Francisco.
Like, why would you even have it? People get at us if you know any practical uses of an anvil other than blacksmithing.
Exactly. I don't think she does that in her hobby.
But all right, so we got sidetracked. So did you enjoy her performance?
Yeah, I thought she was good. She actually retired from acting pretty much after.
I was going to say, do we see her in anything nowadays? Like,
no. So she married an actor or producer director or some guy. They had 3 kids, and she retired from acting, and now she does online tutoring for like acting lessons online. So she only did a couple of things, and that was it. And she had 3 kids and decided to be a stay-at-home mom. Good for her. So,
wow, interesting. Because I thought she was quite good in this. So, let's talk about the other cast. You touched on a little bit when you were talking about some of the characters, like her boss. Like, who is the biggest D-bag in this movie? Is it her boss?
No.
Is it her coworker, that guy, Henry or whatever his name was?
Stu.
Is it Stu? Yes.
Yeah, Reggie Lee played Stu.
Is it Justin Long, like who starts off as like the worst boyfriend ever? Like, is it Clay's mom? Like,
yeah, she was a biatch. No, I gotta go with Stu, man. I gotta go with Stu as the biggest D-bag. I mean, he stole her shit and then sold it off to another firm, right? Like, he was trying to undermine her the entire time.
And then she's nice enough to get him to lunch, and he's like, screwed up my order. Right?
Yeah. I didn't want that.
You get a punch, and even just how the boss even treats her. She's like, hey, why don't you take lunch? And then he follows it up with, oh, give me a sandwich from.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a turkey.
She actually turned out to be a very, I think turned out to be a very strong character, but like things like that make me just think, oh man, it sucks especially if that happens to anybody in the workplace, which I think is kind of common for women. Yeah. Which really sucks. Like I can't imagine having to deal with something like that every day and not snapping. I thought Justin Long was pretty ridiculous with kind of like, he doesn't really believe what she's saying. And then, So much so that when she gets attacked at the house, he comes up with some convoluted thing about like the stress of being attacked, like made you hallucinate.
Well, okay, but
And
let
then
me
he
ask you a
follows it up
question.
with making out with her. Kind of like, yeah, let's get
Well,
past
yeah.
this. And
Well, that's true. Like if your girlfriend is a little bit kind of wackadoo, there's something kind of sexy about going a little bit crazy.
but
Like we could ask Gord about Sarah being a bit crazy, right?
I'm joking.
Just joking.
Sarah's
But
gonna hit you. I don't know what Sarah's gonna do when she sees you.
she's for sure is gonna punch me. That's why I will never meet Sarah in public without witnesses. But no, you know what? Here's the thing though, is I actually don't fault Justin Long I don't fault him for like because
he doesn't do it. He
He
doesn't close the windows. He doesn't stay up at night to make sure no one else gets in the house. He just kind of like, all right, see you later. I don't know if this is like, okay, so let's not. Okay, we'll like, you know, when you watch movies and some people go, that's some white people shit. So since Rob, you my friend, is a white people.
Wait, what? I am.
Would you like be like, yeah, no, this is like some anxiety from thing that let's just stay in this house? Like, first of all, you go stay somewhere else, right? You go to get a hotel or you go to his place or you get out of there because someone came into the house. That's like bad shady.
Yeah, yeah, I'd probably be out. I don't know. It's hard to say because I like if my wife all of a sudden came home and said she thought she was being like she had a curse put on her. And she started talking.
She essentially got thrown around the house, and she's like, "No." He's like, "No. It's like this post-stress thing. Don't worry about."
Well, that's true. That's true.
Gord shouts out Justin Long's mom, who was ridiculous. He finds out she works at the bank, and she's like, "Oh, that must be tough with all that calculation and stuff."
Yeah. His mom was brutal. I know. Sorry, Sarah. Listen, I only make fun of the ones I love.
Okay, so Rob, I actually have the proper answer. The answer that definitively defines who's the biggest teabag.
Well, apparently, according to Sarah, it's me right now.
It is actually Milo during the seance who had one job. Oh. As far as I can tell, this guy had one job. And what was that job? It was to kill the goat, right?
That's right.
Like
yeah.
he just sat at the table. He didn't do anything else. His job was to take the big knife and kill the goat when the spirit or whatever you call it possessed the goat.
Yeah.
And what does he proceed to do when it's his time to shine? He misses and cuts the rope and sets the goat free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that guy's the worst. You had one job.
Yeah, and he fucked it up, John.
Oh man. Okay. Anybody else you want to talk? The lady that plays what's her name? The main villain. She was pretty incredible, right? Like, I don't know how much of it was much of it was prosthetics. Raver. Yeah.
I mean, she's old, but I don't think she's that old. I mean, she's only 78 right now. So in 2009, she would have been 67.
Oh, nice. Look at this math.
So yeah, I mean, 66. So yeah, I think, I know, Gord. I know, Sarah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, she was positively terrifying in this movie. I mean, even the scene at the funeral home. I mean, she just played a dead body. She was still creepy as all hell, right?
Oh, even when they go to the gravesite and it's everything's kind of sinking, and she just kind of like floats over to her.
Yeah,
even that was like just
holding her hair.
Kind of like, oh man, how much hair did Christine lose in this movie? I was like, every other scene, she's getting a chunk of hair pulled out. But they do make the joke later. It's like, that's the last handful of hair or whatever you're getting from me. So I don't know if there's anybody else in the cast we want to mention. Shout out to Jesse. I think that is the same car from the Evil Dead series, which is pretty awesome. And I feel like it was a character on its own, just sitting in their parking lot, just watching everybody. It's pretty funny. Let's go. Do you want to maybe nail down your favorite scene or set piece, Rob?
You know what? I gotta say, I think I did like the seance aspect. I like the body hopping stuff. I like that. You know, it's interesting. If you look at horror movies right now, they're less about the hacker slasher movies, and they're more to do with like the paranormal. You know, obviously the first thing comes to mind is Paranormal Activity, but like whether it's the Conjuring stuff or Hereditary, which I saw last night, by the way, and it's a piece of shit. Sarah, you were right. Or you know, any of those movies or Annabelle or anything like that, they're all more to do with like the poltergeist aspect, the ghosts and this and that. And I think that, you know, the evil spirits. And I think Sam Raimi was obviously a little bit ahead of the curve, even though it's a trope that's been used for many, many years before. I think Sam Raimi may have, you know, unknowingly helped kickstart that idea, that genre again, to get away from the hacker slash movies I'm accustomed to, right? So I really liked that seance scene and seeing the demon kind of flying through. We got spammed again, John.
Wow, this is weird. Definitely a sign that we're hitting the big time. That we're getting spam messages. I don't know if we're gonna have to shut that off. But I got Lewis covering us on the comments, so he's probably banned them already. So yeah, definitely the seance scene. I had a couple other scenes that we'll shout out. If anyone else has a favorite scene or favorite moment, definitely post it now. But the opening scene for sure, that was pretty crazy. Like the whole movie opens with the parents bringing in their kid, and then the lady who shows up later during the seance tries to save him. So we get a glimpse into what's kind of going down. That was crazy. The parking lot or the carjacking scene, as Rob calls it. Like that was crazy. Yeah. And then she like rams the car into another car to like send the old lady flying forward and things like that. And then the part where she ducks down in the car and Christine kind of puts her forehead against the window and she can't see low. Like that was really clever. Whoever came up with that, that's funny because that's exactly what would happen. If you just drop to the ground, you can't see what's going on. That she could end up any other point in the car.
Well, that was the best part. She's like, ha ha ha, because she locked all the doors. She was like, ha ha, I got you. And then
that's what you get for you never smack talk. I feel like she should have tried a couple more times to go, I'm sorry, let's work this out. But and then the seance that Rob mentioned, I think that's probably gonna take the cake. Oh, actually, you know what? I have one scene that I think is better. But the next scene I had down was the tool shed with the anvil drop. Pretty funny. And then the graveyard scene. I actually quite like the graveyard where she digs up the grave and it becomes like this pit of death kind of. And then
the one person I respect the most, Sarah, she mentioned this. She said the wet t-shirt, no bra close up. That's probably why John liked it. When she saw the envelope into the
I didn't even notice.
And bullshit and stands above her in the grave. Yeah, all right. You're like the angles in which Sam Raimi shot this movie was just fantastic. Man, Sarah's the best for pointing that out.
Yeah. I thought it was like when the tombstone or the cross comes and hits her head. I'm like, oh man.
Oh, like, I know. And it made like a hollow tin sound. It was like boing. I was like, what the hell?
And then like, she's okay, right? And then she goes under. But yeah, that's
a lot of water for a rainstorm. Can we just say like it was raining, and I'm like, there's obviously really poor. Like I was watching, I was like, man, that's some poor irrigation at that cemetery. All that water pouring in. Like
if you look it up, it's some weird mix of like Oreo coloring like stuff and something else mixed in to make that mud. But it looked pretty scary. Like that.
Yeah, but I would think, but it was horrible. You would think it'd be. That's horrible irrigation, John. The cemetery grounds really should do something about how their water drains. I want to ask you a question because I know we're getting close to the end. I want to talk about the end, John.
Yeah.
Did you expect it to end with Christine being dragged to hell, or did you think, hey, she defeated her, all is well and good, the movie ends on a happy note? Because it reminded me. Do you remember that movie with Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn? I think it was like called like The Breakup or something. And it's a couple and they're arguing this and that. And like, you think that they're going to get back together at the very end. And they're like, no, go fuck yourself. We're out. And you're like, oh shit, they actually broke up. It's very rare that would like that kind of throws you off, even though that's the most logical thing. So in this movie, it's very logical that of course she's going to get dragged to hell because that's the name of the movie. But our monkey brains automatically instinctively think, oh, she's defeated the villain, she is safe. Were you shocked that wasn't the
I kind of had a feeling something was coming because when because when he gets the coin they make a big deal of putting in the envelope.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That the dime.
Yeah, and he seals it and stuff. And then when she drops the coin, I was like, I actually just thought the button wasn't in the envelope anymore. I thought it was gonna be something else. And I'm like, what the hell? You don't catch it. And then they make a big deal of when the other guy, the exorcist guy that Sarah mentioned earlier, puts the button in the envelope and stuff like that. So I was like, something's up with this. And then the fact that everything just started falling into place for her. Boss calls her. That guy turns himself in, and seems like everything. Jesus Christ, these kids. If I put the movie on, they would be like out of here in a shot. But
do it. Yeah. Scare them.
Yeah, they're scared of like older ladies like for the rest of their lives.
Old white ladies.
But I kind of saw it coming, and I know that it was this is the typical horror movie trope that the good guy, quote unquote, doesn't really win in the end. We saw it in the Freddy movie that we watched, and things like that. So I kind of saw it coming. It was still very sad to see because I think Sarah brought it up at the beginning. Did she deserve to have this happen to her, Rob? Like in her job, she's just trying to get ahead, and undeserving of the third extension. Like, and then I think the big deal is that she shamed her, and I'm like, this old lady took her teeth out and put it on her desk and started doing all these weird things, and now getting turned down for the loan is the shame that breaks the back. You know
what? I agree. I agree with Sarah. I agree with what you're saying. No, she doesn't. She's just doing her job. This woman kept asking for. You know what? Maybe Ms. Ganesh. She's the biggest d-bag of the entire movie because
there was no extreme to curse this person.
Right, because she goes, I want an extent. You're not getting paid, like you're not making your payments to the bank. What did you think was going to happen? I think maybe I'm going to revise it. It wasn't Stu was the biggest d-bag. I think she was horrible. Then because she didn't like what she wanted, she decides, she didn't have the intention of putting the curse on her. She intended to want to kill her. Like she's like an 80-something-year-old woman who decided to hide in the back of that vehicle with the intention of strangling
she had many talents, and I feel like she could have put them to work and got the money together to do this.
She may be part of the John Wick prequel series because maybe she was an assassin.
Yeah, she was like unstoppable.
She was horrible. That's horrible. But I mean, anybody, listen, John, you're in customer service. We've all been in customer service or currently are. You know what it's like. You're going to get a customer who's just, completely unreasonable and an irritant. And you got to put up with their shit and because you got to do your job. And thankfully, neither of us have been cursed. Although I think probably there might be somebody in the chat tonight who would probably be putting a curse on me. But that's another story. And John has now lost complete control. John, are we going to continue? It's all me. Okay, so I guess unless you have anything else you want to talk about, Drag Me to Hell.
Oh, wait.
You said that you enjoyed it. You would recommend watching it. You would probably watch it again. Do you think this would be like something one of your... We've kind of touched on this a little bit last week. They're Christmas movies you generally watch only once a year, right? And that, weirdly enough, is coming up pretty soon. You're going to start kicking off your Christmas holiday season with movies by mid to November. Right. Scrooge, Die Hard, Elf, all those ones that you don't watch them in July. Is this a movie that you think you would pop in February, or do you think this is now like something you'd watch on Halloween because the season changing, the getting darker earlier at night?
No, I don't feel like these horror movies are really kind of like only watch it Halloween or maybe only towards the evening. I would feel awkward watching this during the the morning matinee or something like that. But it was still entertaining. So I feel like this one, if you're just in the mood for something a little funny / a little dark, I would definitely watch this again. I don't think it's devoted to only Halloween. October, like latter half of October or anything like that.
Right. Okay. And then for overall though, because I know you are not a horror movie, so the people in chat, let me know. Do you find yourself only watching horror movies around Halloween time? Is October the month of Halloween, horror / scary movies for you? Or do you guys watch them year round regardless? It's just more of like, hey, it's on Saturday night, it's raining outside. on a nice, a crappy March evening, I'm going to throw on The Conjuring Part 2. Like, let me know in chat what you guys do with your movie. I feel like I tend to watch horror movies more in the fall than I do any other time of the year. Sarah says horror anytime. So yeah, I mean, yeah, some of them come out in the in the spring and for whatever reason.
Yeah, or summer blockbuster.
Yeah. So all right, fair. Oh yeah, so Fraser says he can watch them whenever as well. All right, cool. I hope you guys all had a good time checking out these movies these last few weeks. John, I know again this is not your genre, but did you have a good time?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy I gave it a go. I actually do have a little bit more appreciation for this genre, and I'm learning to become less attached to characters that appear in these movies. Oh man, did you see the cat sacrifice coming? As soon as they showed the cat and talked about animal sacrifice, I'm like, this poor cat. But they chose like the raggediest looking cat. Like they didn't pick. They knew that what they were gonna do, so they didn't pick a super cute cat. But still, I was like, damn.
I'm okay with I can't say it because I know that I have a very close friend in this chat who's got 2 cats. So I'm not going to say my
yeah. I'm actually surprised Sarah was, but they kind of did it in a comical way.
Right. So would you, all things, willing and good. And John, if you and I are still doing the Heroes World Sidekick Show next October, would you revisit different horror movies then for the next Halloween?
I would give it a try. It was hard for me to squeeze it in because I don't want the kiddies, even though we get them away from me right now, to happen across it. Even though I think this movie is not even rated R, right? There's a rated,
no, it's PG-13.
Yeah, there's an unrated cut, which I think features more blood and more graphic, I think, killing of the cat and stuff like that, right? So, and even just any of the imagery. Yeah. You gotta watch it. Okay, give me like 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes and I'll help you with that.
Hello.
Okay, get out of here.
Come here.
Okay, yeah. So I get what you're saying. You're obviously you have a difficult time getting through a
hopefully next year it'll be a little bit better
for you to be able to watch movies.
I'll have more of my own time because I did want to experience this like on my proper TV, in the dark, popcorn, loud. If you watched it, did you watch it?
Yes.
Okay. Loud sound and stuff like. Let me cut. How about give me a minute and I'll cut it up for you, okay? Sorry, she's got like braces and stuff like that, so I don't want her to destroy lots of money.
Yeah,
but yeah,
that's the best way to watch it, right? Is when you
So I had to watch this in parts. Like I had to split it up. I couldn't sit there and watch the whole thing. Yeah. So I feel like I would definitely enjoy it. Like in the theater, this must have been a blast.
Oh, I would imagine it would have been. Yeah, I didn't personally see it in the theater, but I imagine it would have been. I do enjoy. It's been a long time since I've seen a quote unquote horror movie in the theater, but I would totally go see one. My sister-in-law and I we've seen a few together in the theater, so including the original Saw and whatnot. So yeah, I would totally go to a theater to see another good horror movie. I find that my personal favorite genre of movies is more dealing with the supernatural stuff, like The Conjuring, like those type of movies. I find that I like the Jasons, the Freddys, and the Michael Myers movies because like the slash fix, they're more gory than they are really effed up stuff, right? So,
there's a higher suspense, kind of like.
Well, when you see creepy shit that you can't explain, that messes you up. Like it's like, what the hell, right? But again, we had talked about Hereditary, and I know that not to get into too much of a tangent, but Sarah said she wasn't a big fan. I think Gore said he did. I saw it last night with my sister-in-law during Halloween, lights off, spooked out, and I gotta say, I saw from a couple scenes that I was like, this is freaky. I didn't like the movie, but that's just me in my opinion. But I would love to, John, to get you to sit down and watch the Conjuring movies. I think you would really enjoy them. So, but we'll see. So that's it. That wraps up. Even though it's November 1st, it wraps up our horror month of October. And I hope everybody had a really good time doing it. John, what do we have for next week?
No clue.
Wicked.
Do we have a list of stuff? I have a list of movies I want to get to, but I don't know if you want to pick a theme and try to figure that out, or something that's maybe coming out on on the next. Maybe we'll give it a second and figure that out.
Yeah, we could probably we could talk about it, and I guess stay tuned to the Heroes World, to your Instagram feeds, your Facebooks, this and that, and we'll put something up there. I don't know. Maybe we need to jump into a bit of a comedy, John. I don't know. For some reason I've had a hankering for going back to American Pie, the first one. I don't know why.
American Pie. You want to go to the teen comedies? Can't we at least go to like a Clueless or 10 Things I Hate About You?
No, because they're not comedies, John. The hell are you talking about? But we'll figure something out to watch for next week. Yeah, I said stay tuned and see what's on tap. I mean, I know that I don't know. We'll see. I know December. I'm sure we'll be getting into some of the more festive movies, John.
Yeah, Christmas movies: Jingle All the Way, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon 1. In that order.
In that order. Well, we've already done Lethal Weapon and we've already done Die Hard. We've revisited these already, so we wouldn't be able to do those.
Yeah, or maybe we'll go back. Definitely let us know what
Iron
you guys
Man
think.
3.
Oh God, no! Let us know in the comments what you'd like. Would you like us to go backwards in time again? We tend to go back to 80s, 90s movies a lot. Or you guys want to watch something more current or something very genre specific. So yeah, definitely let us know in the comments. Thanksgiving movies. I didn't even know there was a Thanksgiving movie genre.
Yeah, well, there's planes,
there's Thanksgiving
trains, and automobiles. No, there's planes, trains, and automobiles is a Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. You're trying to get home for Thanksgiving, John.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Gordon said Army of Thieves was very good. I've heard great things about Army of Thieves. This is the quasi prequel to Army of the Dead that Zack Snyder directed. This is directed by, I can't remember his name. He was the safecracker, and I've heard amazing things about this movie. It just dropped on Netflix on Friday.
So it's an Army of Dead prequel, but with no zombies.
Correct. Yeah, it's like a heist movie. It's like a Ocean's 11 type thing.
Heist movie. Yeah, heist movie is a different genre right now. We could definitely do it in honor of heist movies. But yeah, we'll kind of kick the idea around. We'll let you guys know. So please follow us on the YouTubes and the Facebook and the Instagrams. We'll definitely hit you up. Jesse makes a good point. Rob, are we doing Movember? Is anyone doing Movember?
I can't.
No,
I can't grow anything, man.
All right,
you can. You look like a dastardly villain when you grow your stuff in. I can't.
It gets pretty out of hand. So the longest I've probably gone is maybe like 2 weeks, and then it gets to that point where it just looks nasty, and I want to get rid of it. So, but it's a good cause. So if anyone's down to do with it, let me know, and maybe we can make a team or something like that. But
yeah, we'll review Tom Selleck movies. All right.
Yeah. Magnum PI episode 1.
Yeah, that's right.
Or something along those lines. I can't think of what was Magnum PI in movie wise.
You know what? Wait, what? What was he in movies?
Was he in movies? Tom Selleck.
Runaway. He was in that sci-fi movie Runaway.
Okay, so nothing really big. All right. Anyways, well,
yeah. The Jesse Stone movies. Oh, 3 Men and a Baby. That's true.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. Fuck. I just watched it a few months ago with my kids, and it was a piece of shit. Oh yeah, Jesse will do Movember. That guy looks like he could grow a beard by sneezing. So
I saw him 1 week without a beard, and then the same week that Friday he had full beard again. It was crazy. Yeah. But hey, you know what? It's a great cause. So if Jesse wants to team up, I'm definitely down to give it a try. I'd have to make sure it's okay with the wife because she hates it. But she understands the cause, and I think she has given me the okay to actually do a Movember if we want to do it. So Rob, if I do it, I feel like you have to be in, but it'll look like you're in, but you're not.
Yeah. You literally wouldn't notice anything. So
you have to draw something on it, or remember that late night infomercial where they would spray the
Ron Popeil's hair in a can. Yeah.
Anyways,
all right.
I think I'm keeping everybody too long. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you everybody in the comments. Thank you so much. Thanks Lewis for helping me with the spam control. It's crazy. I feel like we've crossed the echelon of
weirdness
of initiation or something like that.
I know. If it's not being spam about girls streaming, people will want to look at our t-shirts. I don't know, but whatever. Thanks anyways. All right, thanks everybody, and don't forget, tune into TGIF on Friday. Hey, What Did I Miss is on Thursdays, the Heroes World main podcast every Sunday, and I believe this Sunday we will be probably diving into the Eternals. So if you have an opportunity to check it out, I suggest you go ahead and do so. And with that, I am John. No, I am Rob.
What? What just happened? Was that a bit that didn't work out, or did you?
No, it was a bit, but just watching you be like, it made me laugh. All right, I'm Rob. That's John.
Thank you so much, everybody. Let's catch you on the next one.